Hello everyone and welcome to a new favourite things video. With the start of spring, I thought I would share some of the things that I've been loving lately, many of which are related to the season. So I've got quite a lot to share, from perfume to table linens, books of course. I brought together a selection of a few things that I've been really loving lately and that I thought you'd like to hear about as well. So let's start off with some stationery. I found another new artist that I love, and she does some very pretty cards that I wanted to share with you because I know how many of you love stationery as well. So here is one really pretty spring postcard that actually came with my order of cards, but I'm keeping it because it's just so lovely. The blossom is so pretty. So the artist's name is Anna Nima. I hope I'm saying the last name correctly. And she's got a lot of sort of literary inspired cards. They often feature women reading, like this one, which I think is just lovely. It's called Peace, this card, and this looks like such a peaceful moment. It looks like there's maybe some tulips blooming there, and I just thought, what a pretty card. And then this one is also a lovely sort of peaceful moment as well, again featuring a woman reading. And then some of her cards are actually inspired by books. So this one is called The Railway Children, and I love that children's book by Nesbit, so happy to get this card. And then this one isn't for spring, but I'm saving this for autumn. It's Little Women, obviously inspired by the book. And I just love this illustration. You can see Orchard House just behind there. I love the attention to detail in this, so it's just beautiful. So I'm so thrilled to have got some of these lovely cards from a new to me artist, and I thought you'd like to learn about them as well. And then I bought my mum a few little gifts, sort of pre-Mother's Day gifts. She adores brooches. So I got a few brooches for her over the past few weeks that she was really thrilled with. One is from Hand and Lock. Just show you here. I love this brooch because my mum really likes ceramics. I thought one that's a very pretty sort of urn or vase was really appropriate for her. And it's from Hand and Lock, which is a London-based company that I really like that specialises in embroidery. And you can see there's some lovely embroidery going on with this brooch. And I know how much my mum loves to wear a brooch, so she was thrilled with this, which is super. And then speaking of embroidery, my mum also adores the embroidered brooches by the artist Kathy Cullis. So I managed to get my mum a couple. I'll show you this one. You can see just the lovely detail that goes on in that brooch. A lot of the Kathy Cullis brooches are similar to this. I got this one for my mum, and then another one that features another lady with a little bird, and it has more of a green colourway to it. I got that one for her too. I've been trying to get her a Kathy Cullis brooch for ages, but they're really hard to get. Kathy Cullis generally announces on her Instagram and Substack when she's about to sort of drop a new little collection, and you really have to get there right on the dot to make your order because they sell out straight away. So times I've tried in the past, I haven't been successful. But the last time I managed to get 2 brooches for my mum, so I was really thrilled. She adores these, and I think they are very special. Obviously, as always, I'll be linking to everything in the video description box, so do check out all of the details there. And then the other brooch that I got for my mum is by an artist called Jo Elwood, I think it is, Alwood or Elwood. I will link to it, so I'm not quite sure how to pronounce her last name. But she also does beautiful brooches, and you can see this snowdrop one is just so sweet. My mum has a few of these brooches that I've bought for her over the past kind of year or so, and she loves to wear these ones on her coat, on the lapel of her coat. They're a bit sturdier than the Kathy Colours brooches, for instance. These are fabric and these are wooden. And even though you'd still want to be careful with these, you know, not to get them drenched or anything, they're just a bit sturdier than the fabric brooches. So she likes to wear these ones on the lapel of her coat. She always gets compliments on them, and they just are a bit sturdier, so she's happier to wear them on a coat. I love this snowdrop one. I've also got her a little robin one and an iris one and an owl one, actually. So trying to get her some brooches to go through the seasons. But this one was one I got just quite recently, and even though the snowdrops are past, there's such a wonderful sign of spring. So I know that she'll really enjoy wearing this next February for sure. So I just wanted to share these lovely artists with you because I do love to support independent makers, and I think they're just gorgeous. I did pick up some jewellery for myself recently that I thought I would share with you too. I got these lovely earrings from Brora. I'll hold them up so you can see. They look like two suns, so I've been really enjoying wearing them as the weather's got sunnier and warmer, because yes, they just remind me of two suns, these earrings, and make me think of lovely spring and summer months to come. So I've been really enjoying wearing these lately. They're very light, which I like. The only thing is you have to be careful because there's no back to them. Sometimes they can fall out, so do be careful. I've had that happen to me once, that one just popped out while I was taking a jumper off, because it's still not that warm here in Yorkshire, so I'm still wearing jumpers a lot, so do be careful of that. But if you don't know the jewellery section to Brora, then I always recommend having a look. Brora in the UK is a lovely fashion wear company that specialises in cashmere, especially jumpers and scarves, things like that. They have other clothing that's lovely. But they also do some jewellery, which I don't think people know so much about. And I really like the jewellery, so does my mum. And you can get real bargains, especially in the sale. But yes, it's always worth checking out Brora jewellery. And I really like these earrings that I just picked up recently. Another thing that I've been loving with the start of spring is, of course, the beautiful spring flowers. So you can see behind me I've arranged some vases of daffodils and tulips, and I just love to get them. The tulips I get from Smith & Munson. They're one of my favourite places to get tulips from, and the daffodils I get from a local flower company. So it's just so nice to have fresh flowers in the house, and something I really appreciate with the start of spring. Just before I tell you about my next favourite thing, I wanted to share my offer code with Serious Readers. I'm delighted to say that Serious Readers are very kindly sponsoring today's video. As you know, I'm a huge fan of their reading lights. I use my high definition floor light all the time. It's definitely one of my favourite things through every season. So I'm really pleased to have an offer code to share with you. My offer code is Miranda, all capital letters Miranda, and if you use that offer code, it will get you £150 off any of the high definition lights by Serious Readers, as well as free shipping within the UK. So though the shipping is only free within the UK, the offer code that gets you £150 off is available internationally. Even though the evenings are getting so much longer and lighter now, which is lovely, I still use my Serious light all the time whenever I'm reading. Reading is a huge part of my life. I read for quite a few hours every evening, so it's very important to have a great reading light in my life. And I'm so happy with my high definition light, which I've been using for well over 2 years already. I live in a very old house which doesn't always get the best light, as we're north facing here, so having a great reading light has made such a big difference to my life. And the amazing light quality is one of the things that I love the most about my Serious light. All of the high definition lights by serious readers feature something called daylight wavelength technology, which essentially replicates the daylight spectrum as closely as technically possible. So when I'm reading with my serious light, I feel like I'm reading in a pool of natural light, or at least as close to natural light as it's possible to get. I also love that I can adjust the width of the beam of the light, as well as the brightness levels of the light, so I can get just the right amount of light for me, and this really helps me to reduce eye strain. So if you're also in need of a great reading light in your life, then do take advantage of my offer code. Again, that's Miranda, all capital letters, Miranda. And if you use that offer code, it gets you £150 off any of the high definition lights by serious readers, as well as free shipping within the UK. I'll put all of the information in the video description box just down below, so you can check out the relevant link and see all the details of my offer code just in the video description box down below. But now let's get back to my video. Okay, now on to my next favourite thing, which is talking about tablecloths. I do love to get pretty tablecloths, and with the start of a fresh season, I really do like to change things up a bit. And recently I discovered the brand Sarah Kay, and I absolutely love her table linens. This is a British company and she does beautiful tablecloths. I also really like her dressing gowns. I got my mum one of her pink sort of quilted cotton dressing gowns. I got a blue one. I'll put images of everything up here so you can see. And then I picked out 2 new tablecloths for the spring. One with a very pretty blue and white stripe with a floral pattern to it that's in our kitchen, and then I also got one new one for the living room, which has a pink floral pattern against a kind of creamy white background. And they're both lovely. I'm just so impressed by the quality. I think they're really reasonably priced for beautiful tablecloths, and I'm thrilled with them. The one in the living room I've actually paired with a table runner from Emma Bridgewater. Again, I'll put images up so you can have a look. And it's stunning. I love this new this table runner from Emma Bridgewater. It just happens to pair, I think, really nicely with this Sarah Kay tablecloth. So I've got that on in the living room at the moment, and it just really brightens the room, and I love pretty linens, so I thought I'd share those with you as well. And then perfume was something that I wanted to talk about too, because I adore violet scented perfumes, especially in the springtime. So I thought I'd share 3 favorite perfumes of mine that feature violets. So one is the Erin perfume Cedar Violet. I've spoken about this one on my channel before, but I really love it. It's just such a pretty perfume, one that I find myself reaching for many times, and it's a real favourite early spring perfume of mine. And I actually really like to layer it with this Angela Flanders perfume. One of my absolute favourite perfumes by Angela Flanders is this one. It's called Josephine, and it's a beautiful blend of violet and rose. So this one actually goes well into the summer, although to be honest, I wear this one all year round. This is the second bottle that I'm on. I think I discovered this just last autumn, and I have been wearing it all through the year. So this is the second bottle that I'm now on, but I just love it so much. It is particularly appropriate for the spring and summer, I have to say. And in springtime, I actually really like to layer these 2 together. Oh, it's just that little extra kick of violet, and I just think that they actually go really nicely together. So I love these ones. And then I've spoken about Fern before. They're a sort of subscription-based perfume company where you sign up and you receive one seasonally appropriate perfume each season, which is really fun. And their new perfume is a violet one for spring, which I was very happy about. because like I said, I adore the scent of violets. We have a few tiny little violets blooming in our garden, and it makes me so happy to see them. But I just love the scent for this time of year. So I was thrilled with the latest fern perfume too, and I wanted to share that. A few other little beauty things. I spoke in one of my previous videos about this foundation, which both Mum and I are really loving. It's the Estee Lauder Futurist Hydra Rescue moisturizing makeup, and it has SPF 45. This is a lovely foundation. It's quite lightweight, which I like. I don't like too thick a coverage, so this really suits me, and I really love to have foundations that have quite a high SPF, because it just means that when I put my makeup on, I'm then not worried if I step out into the garden for a bit or take my cup of tea outside for a mid-morning break. I'm not worrying about getting too much sun on my face when I know I've put foundation on, and so I'm just that bit protected, which is really nice. And yes, I have the very lightest shade, which is porcelain, which really suits me. I'm really happy with the shade. It just blends right in, which I love. I don't tend to really tan much over the spring and summer because I am very careful about using SPF, and I don't tend to use fake tan either. So I really like this shade, but there are lots of different shades to try. But yes, this has been a great foundation, one that I'll definitely keep wearing through the hotter months. And then another Estee Lauder product that I got recently that I thought was especially fun for spring is this little eyeshadow palette, and it's in collaboration with Ladurée. And I always loved going to Ladurée when I lived in London. They make and sell incredible macarons, which were just so tasty. I wish I could get them here in Yorkshire, actually. And they're always in very pretty pastel shades. So they're a sort of sweet treat that I always think is particularly fitting for spring, that season of pastels. And when I saw this eye palette, I just loved it. I've been using it, so you can see it's not pristine, but I really like the shades. I think they're very pretty. I personally always tend to go for a mix of browns for my sort of darker eyeshadows, and then I really do like a mix of slightly more metallic ones, which they have at the top, a sort of bit of a pinky silvery and like bronzy goldy ones that have a bit of shimmer, and then also some pinks and just a very kind of neutral, more matte beige. And I really like this range of colour. I think it's just such a nice eye palette, and I've been using it almost every day since I got it. So really love this one, and I just like that it comes in a pretty Ladurée inspired case as well, just like a box of macaron, which I love. So I've been really enjoying that. And then sometimes I like to change up my eyeliner a little bit with the new season. I generally always go for a sort of chocolate brown eyeliner. That's what I have on today. That is my standard. But I've also been experimenting with a new eyeliner, or new to me anyway, from Estee Lauder again. And this is a burgundy one, which I can see would be a nice shade for autumn as well, actually. But I've been really enjoying using it in the spring, maybe especially with that new palette that has quite a lot of pinky tones to it. Wearing this burgundy eyeliner, you can see I've been using it already. But I really have been liking experimenting with this a bit. It's just that bit lighter and a bit fun for spring. So yes, I'm really liking this one. And then an old favourite, but I thought I'd share it again, as people often ask me about lipsticks. And to be honest, I tend to stick a lot to the same lipsticks. A favourite pink of mine, which I'm wearing today, is by Lisa Eldridge, and it's her Skyscraper Rose. See, I'm wearing it down a bit, but I got this originally, I think, last spring to begin with, and I'm pulling it out again for this spring, and then I like this lip liner, also by Lisa Eldridge, which is Carnival. I actually need to sharpen it. You can see I'm really wearing these down. But yes, they're just, I love the Lisa Eldridge lipsticks. I wear a lot of hers and really recommend them. So I thought I'd share that one again with you. And then having just talked about La Durée as well, I have to say that more of a Yorkshire-based treat that I always enjoy in the springtime is, of course, Betty's. I think they do Easter so well. Betty's is a wonderful sort of tea shop cafe in Yorkshire, but they also have little shops and they sell a lot of lovely baked goods, chocolate, things like that. It was originally founded by a Swiss person who moved to Yorkshire, and I've always loved that connection because I grew up partly on the French-Swiss border, and I just love Betty's because it's got that blend of Yorkshire and Swiss that actually I think works really, really well together, and their chocolate is always amazing. So for Easter, they get in such beautiful Easter eggs. They also do an amazing simnel cake and little sort of fondant fancies. They do special ones for Easter, and I always look out for when their Easter things start coming into the shops, and I'll definitely be getting a few treats for this Easter, and I'm sure I'll be enjoying them throughout April, to be honest, as Easter is so late this year and I'm already in the mood for my, chocolate eggs. But Betty's does really amazing ones, and they do hampers that you can send. I've sent Easter hampers to friends in the past, and they're always amazing. So I definitely recommend having a look at the Betty's website because it really is spectacular at this time of year, especially I think with their Easter treats. And then another beautiful spring thing that I wanted to share. I mean, I've spoken many times about how much I love Elizabeth Harbour's ornaments. I buy her ornaments for Christmas. She also does amazing Easter ornaments, but I also really love this one by her, which is such a pretty ornament for spring. I think it's amazing. It's called Hide and Seek. You can see the little girl who's just by the blossom tree, and she's searching for the boy that's hidden right at the back. And I think this is just so intricate and beautiful. I've shared this on my channel before, but it first became available in the autumn. It's actually more spring appropriate with the lovely blossom tree. So I wanted to share it again in this season. And I've got it on display in the living room, just on a little side table right now. And it looks so attractive. I think she's so clever. So to have a little springtime ornament like that is just so nice to have out. And then one other thing actually I wanted to share from Angela Flanders. You remember I shared her Josephine perfume, which I love, but I also adore her candles and room sprays, and one scent that I've been waiting to buy for myself. I've been really excited to get it, and then I recently got her wonderful Bluebell candle. I smelt this when I visited her shop back in August, but I didn't buy it at the time because I wanted to save it for spring. And I just recently put an order in, and I got a couple of Bluebell candles to see me through the spring season a bit. I just love the scent of this one. It's so beautiful. I know the bluebells aren't out just yet, but I'm anticipating them with this lovely scented candle. And it's just such a gorgeous spring scent. And I do like to light a candle in the evenings. Even when it's spring and the evenings are getting longer, it's just so nice to light a candle still and to get cozy. And I do really, really love this scent. It's the perfect bluebell scent, I think. So that is just fabulous. And then of course there are some books that I want to share as well. Cranford is my spring choice for my Seasons of Story membership, And I can't tell you how much I'm enjoying this edition, which is illustrated by Hugh Thompson. And it's utterly charming to be reading the book and appreciating the illustrations in this one. I have a couple of illustrated editions of Cranford, and it's hard to choose between the two. But I am leaning towards this one because I think there's just so much humour in his illustrations, and they're just a bit quirky. Even the sort of chapter openings, they always have a little figure, which I love. And this one is really lovely for its illustrations. You can see there the first letter as well as illustrated, and it's like that for every chapter, and I just think it's so clever. But this one has so many illustrations. That's one of the reasons why I'm just loving it. So I have to say, this is a special edition. I was lucky. I found this one for a pretty reasonable price. I can't remember now, but it was a real bargain. And it's just worth looking out for if you ever do sort of see a reasonably priced copy. Then this is just such a lovely one. It's published by Macmillan & Co. Mine is from 1907. And yes, it's Hugh Thompson who illustrates it. And I just can't tell you how much I'm enjoying it. The other illustrated one I have is this Dent edition of Cranford. This one again, I think it was only £5 when I found it, which I was absolutely thrilled with. So I was lucky to get a really reasonable copy. Even though it's not in perfect shape, I don't mind because it has beautiful illustrations. These ones are by C.E. Brock, who I always like a lot too. This is from 1904, as you can see there. And it's got charming illustrations as well, which I love. But there's something about that Hugh Thompson one too that it just really makes me chuckle. I love how many illustrations are in that one. So I wanted to share those vintage books that I've been loving. And then just in the post this morning, I got this new Girls Gone By Publishers edition of The Unsought Farm by Monica Edwards. And I'm over the moon to get this. I was a huge fan of Monica Edwards' Punchbowl Farm and Romney Marsh series when I was young. She wrote many books about a young girl who loved ponies called Tamsin and Tamsin's Friends, and then the other series, the Punchbowl Farm series, intermingled a bit with the Romney Marsh series that mainly follows Tamsin, but there's a bit more about farming life. And those books, the Punchbowl Farm books about farming, were very much based on Monica Edwards' own experience of buying a very rundown farm. And I've been wanting to read this book for so long, so I'm really thrilled that Girls Gone By have republished it. It's non-fiction, it's a memoir by Edwards about life on the farm. And I love the story behind how she ended up buying this farm. Apparently she was reading a book at the farm sale. Always a dangerous thing to be lost in a book. And she never intended to make a bid, but somehow maybe she sort of turned a page and they thought she was making a bid, because she did. And it proved to be the last bid at the sale, which came as a great shock to her, which I can imagine. Mrs. Edwards, it says, went home to break the news. There's no water, no light, no drains, no bathroom, and the other place is at the bottom of the garden. But I just can't wait to read this. I think it will be brilliant. So yes, very, very excited about this one. And then I was thrilled too because Mandalay Press very kindly sent me copies of their latest books, Mary Shelley in Bath. And I so often think of Bath in the springtime because I've been to Bath quite a few times in the springtime. So that feels very appropriate. And this is a collection of writings that Mary Shelley produced while she was in Bath. So there are snippets from some of her work like Frankenstein, as well as some diary entries. And it just seems like an interesting anthology of a mix of her writings, with an introduction by Fiona Sampson, who I interviewed a while ago about her biography of Mary Shelley. So I'm really interested to read that introduction. And then one of their upcoming books that I was lucky to get an advance copy of is Washington Square by Henry James. And this is actually a Henry James I haven't read before, so I'm really curious to read this one. Mantley Press always publish books that are really about place, and this one is very much about New York, so I'm looking forward to reading this as well. And then I've mentioned this book already on my channel, but I wanted to highlight it again as a favourite thing, and that's Spring, The Story of a Season by Michael Morpurgo. I love his writing so much. Again, this is a non-fiction book, a kind of, it's a real celebration of spring. There's some poetry scattered in as well with his writings about the season, and it just looks really special. So I'm really looking forward to this one. And then finally, I've also been really enjoying, it's quite a big book, so I'll get it out here. But this is The New Romantic Garden by Jo Thompson. Spring is so much the season of gardenings, appreciating gardens to their full again. So I've been really turning to this book for inspiration. It makes a perfect coffee table book, and I've been just having so much fun flicking through this. So many gorgeous photographs in it, and there's a whole section on spring and the spring solstice, which I just love. So I've been really enjoying having a look at that. But anyway, those are all of my favourite things. I hope that you've enjoyed this video and it's given you some inspiration. Remember to check out the description box for all of the links. But thank you so much for watching. Extra big thanks as always to those of you who press the super thanks button on my last video. I always so appreciate your support, but thank you to everyone who takes the time to watch my videos, and I'll see you again soon. I'll actually be not posting next week, but I'll be back with another video the following week. So see you then. Goodbye.